As we age, our personalities solidify and our patience for unnecessary formality often dwindles. This is completely natural and often a reflection of wisdom earned through experience. However, there are social habits that some elders develop over time that can come across as rude to younger generations, even when no offense is intended. Understanding these behaviors can help bridge gaps between generations and foster greater respect, empathy, and mutual understanding. Today, we will explore 5 such social habits that can unintentionally make elders seem impolite, even when their hearts are in the right place. Habit 1. Offering unsolicited advice. One of the most common social habits among elders is offering advice, sometimes without being asked. After decades of life experiences, it's natural to want to share what you've learned. Many elders feel it's their responsibility to help guide the younger generations away from mistakes they themselves made. However, unsolicited advice can feel condescending or intrusive to those on the receiving end. Studies have shown that unsolicited advice triggers defensiveness because it implies the recipient isn't capable of solving their own problems. A 2018 report in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships highlighted that people often interpret unrequested advice as criticism, even when it's delivered with the best intentions. Elders may simply be trying to help, but what's perceived is an assumption that the other person is incapable or lacking. A key to avoiding this perception is to ask permission before offering advice. Simple phrases like, "Would you like to hear what worked for me?" Or "May I offer a suggestion?" put the listener in control and foster a feeling of respect rather than judgment. This small shift maintains the dignity of both parties and prevents valuable advice from being dismissed as unwelcome interference. Habit 2. Speaking too bluntly. Another social behavior that can make elders seem rude is the tendency toward bluntness. After years of navigating life's challenges, many older adults abandon the niceties and say what they mean without much sugarcoating. While this straightforwardness can be refreshing in some situations, it can also be perceived as abrasive or insensitive. Blunt communication is often rooted in a belief that honesty is the best policy, and to some extent this is true. Yet modern social norms often favor a balance between honesty and tact. A 2021 survey by Pew Research Center found that younger generations, particularly millennials and Gen Z, place a higher value on emotional sensitivity in communication than previous generations. For example, comments about someone's weight, appearance, career choices, or personal life that are meant as observations or concerns can come across as harsh criticisms. Elders might comment, "You've put on weight since I last saw you," intending to express concern, but the recipient might hear judgment instead. Practicing what psychologists call compassionate candor can help. This involves being honest while also being mindful of how the message might make someone feel. Taking a moment to frame observations gently, or even choosing to withhold a blunt remark altogether, can preserve relationships and reduce misunderstandings. Habit 3. Dismissing new ideas or trends. A third social habit that can be unintentionally alienating is dismissing new ideas, technologies, or cultural trends out of hand. Many elders grew up in vastly different environments and have watched the world change at a breakneck pace. Understandably, some new trends can seem frivolous, unnecessary, or even foolish. However, scoffing at or ridiculing these trends can come across as disrespectful to the younger people who find meaning or value in them. Researchers at Stanford University, in a 2020 study, emphasized that cross-generational understanding hinges significantly on mutual respect for evolving cultural practices. When elders quickly label something as nonsense or ridiculous without seeking to understand it, it can widen the generational divide and make them appear close-minded or judgmental. Imagine a young adult excitedly talking about a new social media platform or a career in a non-traditional field like esports. If the elder's immediate response is laughter or dismissal, the young person may feel invalidated or even embarrassed. A better approach might be expressing curiosity, asking questions like, "What do you enjoy about it?" or "Tell me more about how that works." Even if the elder doesn't ultimately agree with or embrace the trend, the willingness to listen shows respect and fosters a spirit of connection rather than conflict. Habit 4. Dominating conversations. A fourth habit that can cause social friction is dominating conversations, often with long anecdotes, detailed stories, or opinions that leave little room for others to contribute. It's natural for elders to have rich lives full of stories and lessons, and sharing them can be a wonderful way to connect. However, monopolizing conversations can unintentionally make others feel unheard or undervalued. Psychological studies in conversational dynamics have shown that humans are more likely to form positive impressions of others when they feel heard and included. According to a 2019 report in Psychological Science, listeners who perceive conversations as two-sided are significantly more likely to feel connected to their conversational partner. Elders might unintentionally dominate because they feel a need to impart wisdom or because they fear their stories will be forgotten otherwise. Yet allowing space for others to share their experiences and thoughts shows respect for their perspectives too. A simple technique to avoid conversational dominance is the talk, listen, balance method. For every personal story shared, take the time to invite a story from someone else. Asking open-ended questions like, "What about you?" or "Have you ever experienced something like that?" can transform a one-sided narrative into a dynamic and fulfilling exchange for all parties involved. Habit 5. Focusing on negative aspects. Finally, focusing excessively on negative aspects of life, from complaining about aches and pains to criticizing the way things are done today, can create an atmosphere that feels heavy and discouraging. Elders have lived through many challenges, and it's completely valid to acknowledge that not everything about the present is perfect. However, dwelling too often on the negatives can inadvertently make conversations feel draining to others. Social psychologists have noted what they term the negativity bias, where negative comments or experiences weigh more heavily on people's memories and emotions than positive ones. In mixed-age gatherings, if an elder's contributions are primarily complaints or laments about the past, or criticisms of the present, it can sour the mood and lead to feelings of disconnect. It's important to maintain balance, acknowledging difficulties while also recognizing joys and positives, models resilience and gratitude, two qualities deeply respected across generations. Sharing fond memories, celebrating small wins, and expressing optimism where possible can make interactions uplifting rather than burdensome. For example, instead of focusing solely on how things have worsened over time, an elder might say, "Things are different now, and while I miss some aspects of how things used to be, I'm also amazed at how technology connects people today." This approach acknowledges change without dismissing the good in the present,